Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So let's go ahead and do a sound check. It sounds good. Hey J-Mac, thanks for joining us. So today somebody sent me this link and I appreciate it so we could find out what we can vote for. I put the link in the description so you guys can vote too. And they're offering us 5 potential things for the Eternia's choice. And I was looking at it and trying to figure out what would I vote for. And I had a really hard time trying to figure out which one I'm going to vote for. So I decided to put together something to help me figure out how to vote for it. So let's go ahead and go through the PowerPoint first that I put together. And let's talk about this. Hey Jeff, thanks for joining us. And I appreciate you guys being here. So the first thing up, I guess I got to click my mouse on here first. I got so many things working at once, is the attack track. Now the attack track does look pretty cool. Now I'm assuming these are all for Origins. I don't recall if it was for Origins or Masterverse, but I'm guessing this is probably for Origins. Being they're releasing the new Filmation Origins figures, it makes sense to have Attack Track be something from Filmation. Now, Jeff said this is his #1 fan. Let's see, Jay says Snake Lair looked like the most well planned out and aesthetically pleasing in his opinion. So let's take a look at this. So Attack Track has some pretty cool things. Unicron, thanks for joining us. Lee, thanks for being here. Too bad there's not a section for all of them. Yes, you can only have 2 votes. 2 votes is all you get. So with the attack track, we have this cool thing that flips up so you can put the guys in the seats. So I don't know if it's going to have a way to get them from the front to the back, like the Scooby-Doo van. Hopefully it's open in there so you can turn the chairs around and see the other people. Now, I actually bought the tank for Thundercats to kind of pretend it's this. So I don't know now that I already have the tank. I don't know what to see. It does look pretty cool, though. And here's what I really love is, look, it includes the regular attack track from when we were kids, the toy, inside of it that can drive out. So this thing has to be mammoth for it to fit another attack track inside of it. I mean, that's kind of a cool thing. Yes, I'm guessing these are all for Origins, like I mentioned before, because the Filmation figures coming out just makes the most sense. I hope it's a 4-seater. I'm guessing it's probably going to be 2-seaters in the front, but the really cool was a 4-seater, and then probably a big open area in the back to put your attack track or whatever else you want to throw in there. A million troopers or whatever. Battle Cat, hopefully he fits in there too. That's why I'm hoping that they have the opening in the front between the front and back, so you can stick Battle Cat's head as Cringer through there with Adam and you know, Man-at-Arms driving the tank. My votes were Attack Track and Horde Tank. Yes. Yeah, I'm guessing they are pretty big. Yeah, Classic Cringer should probably fit, no problem. But hopefully they have an opening in the back so we can actually try it out and see how it fits. Alright, so here it is close up. It does look really cool. It's funny, is this was actually the first vehicle that I was going to make on my 3D printer when I got my new giant 3D printer. But if they're going to release this, maybe I won't have to. But then again, I really want it for, as you know, classics. So would I be able to stuff my classics in the seat is going to be important to me. And looking at this front here, I'm guessing you could stuff a classics in there a little above the seat. I'm sure I could figure out some way to make my classics figures fit in there maybe. We'll have to figure that out and see. Alright, so there is the attack track. Up next is the Doom Tower. The Tower of Power. Now this is Horde's Lair. People have asked for this for a long time. Now I've seen lots of people make customs of this, and usually the customs are monstrously huge. I mean, they take up, you know, like twice the size of Castle Grayskull. But looking at this, I'm thinking this is not as big as we think. There's a little chamber here with a doorway open about the size of a figure. So it's still kind of big, but it's going to be probably taller than Castle Grayskull, but not wider unless you account the feet as well included. So this chamber looks like the chamber you'd probably put Horde in or something, but it's not like some great giant meeting area what you would think. Now, I imagine this chamber is probably for converting people from regular humans to mech humans, like they did with Cyclone and Dragster and those guys, where Hordak transformed them. And then on this side, you can see there's more of the chamber area, and you can kind of see the little opening there, and the chamber that opens up to put the guy inside there to transform him into some crazy whatever. And they have the ladder going up, which you probably have to jump to like you would for, I don't think it's touching the ground. It's kind of, but I suppose they may put something else in there. And then on top, there's Hordak's throne. Now, looking at his throne, I'm starting to think maybe this set's bigger than I think. I mean, we got some computers in there. We got some weapons over here. Maybe this is monstrous. Maybe this thing would revel one of the towers in the Eternia playset, like the main center tower, which would be pretty cool. My stream is frozen. Somebody else's stream frozen? Let me know. Hopefully nobody else's stream is frozen. Nope, no, all good. Okay, great. Yeah, there are solid pictures here, so it may seem like it's frozen, but... Alright, so there is our second choice. Alright, let's go ahead and continue on and take a look at the next one. The next one is the Fright Zone. Now, as you guys know, I just recently bought the Fright Zone for the old toys. And so for me, this one's kind of like, well, maybe not so much, because I already just got the Fright Zone, and it's probably not going to be much bigger. Maybe it will be. But what's cool is, though, maybe a new puppet. Maybe it might be an articulated figure instead of a puppet, which I would actually prefer to have an articulated snake than I would a puppet. Maybe an articulated snake you can put your hand in and control from the back side, so you can either do it with or without the puppet, as opposed to a rubber puppet that's going to fall apart. But I really hope the tree is made of softer plastic rubbery stuff so it won't break so easy. Now, what's cool about this is they've kind of done a few little updates onto it. Let's go and talk about it. The first is a trap door. It has a trap door on top, and it looks like there's a button there right here, like the guy steps on the button or you push the button and he falls into the cage of doom. And the back seems to open up to allow you to grab the figure from the back, which makes me wonder if the front doesn't open at all. I'm guessing the front is solid in there, unlike the cage door that we had before that opened up that never quite worked right. I think this is a much better solution, and I really like the way they thought this through. So that's kind of cool. And then we have the tree with the 3 ravens or crows or whatever they're supposed to be. Some kind of dark, evil bird. I wish to connect to Snake Mountain. I take it back. I see the Fright Zone. Shouldn't even be on the list. Wow. All right. I think it's kind of cool. I think it has a lot of cool new features. I mean, the snake does look kind of cool. Now, there is one thing that does kind of bother me about this, and that is the actual play area. So if you take a look at this, let me go and draw on the screen so we can do some drawing. Let's do some drawing. Let me go ahead and grab my pen, and I will make it yellow. Yeller. Old yeller. And this right here, oops, I guess I got to draw on the other piece. This right here, that's hard to see, there we go, whoop, is our play area for this play set. And it's not really that big of a play area. I got to make that pen bigger. I'll choose, well, wow, arrow options. Okay. I guess I'll choose highlighter. Let's see if that gives me a bigger, no. So anyway, here's your play area, this yellow area. And being you got a big monster here, you got a big old monster right here in the way, and you have your snake sticking in there. There's not a lot of play area for the figures to actually go on. Now, I'm going to challenge you guys for a second. And I just thought of this today when I have it sitting out, because somebody and I were chatting back and forth, and I took a picture of it next to Castle Grayskull to show the size difference. I'm going to challenge you guys, and don't think of this as a castle. Like you got floors and you got walls, you got everything else, because that makes it so you are right. Then your play area is only this little area right in here. I guess I can draw on here. Cool. This little area right in here is your only play area. Instead, I implore you to think of this a little bit different, where this sits on your floor and the whole entire area of your floor is the play area. And this is like a mountain in the background. And in this mountain in the background, your guy can go up these stairs, boop, 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 and then come up here to all the calamity, and then go up these stairs. And it's just one element, in the trapdoor, one element of your whole entire play stuff. So it's not that this is, you know, your play area is only this little area here and up here by the tree, and that's it, and these stairs, but it's your whole entire floor all along here surrounding this mountain. So it's not just that you play in these two little areas in the stairs, but you actually play all around it, which makes a whole different thought process. Now it's a mountain in the background or a hill in the background, not the place where everything has to happen. And what drove me to this thought was this right here. Let me show you. Let me choose green and circle this. Is this man-eating plant. Now this man-eating plant is on the side. And so you think about it, if somebody comes along this side right here, that's where the man-eating plant's going to get them, not just the stairs. So that's what made me started thinking that this is not just a play set that you only play the figures on the hard plastic, but you also play on the floor all around it. Now, that does sound cool until you get to the backside. The backside's all hollow in the original toy. Hopefully they do something with the backside so it's not as hollow. You're going to put this in the corner of your room. Otherwise it looks kind of weird just sitting out in the middle of nowhere. Pop Actor says Fright Zone all the way. The snake looks like Snake Mountain. Yep, we will see what they come up with and what they do. So there it is. Looks like the rock monster might be removable, but you're right. Once this is all in here, there's not a lot of play area. It is just so small, and the snake is so big in the way. You really can't get a lot of bang for your buck if you think of this as just the play area. Horde Crawler. Oh, okay, this thing is amazing looking. It's big, it's monstrous, it's huge. I'm guessing this is a seat up here for a figure to sit, because there's some handles, looks like the back of a seat. And then once you put a figure up here to control this command tower and guns and big and engines and horde symbols and weird little tanks and tread and all this stuff everywhere, and of course the giant Hordak head. Now my kids had a tank kind of like this. It was not actually Masters of the Universe, it was some other off-brand, and they used to play with it all the time. And let's talk about how big this thing is. So here right here we have approximately 5.5. I'm not very good at writing my numbers with this highlighter. 5.5 inches, maybe 6 depending on how they have them standing tall. So there we have one measure, there we have another measure, plus a little more. So this thing is probably 12 to 18 inches tall, I am guessing, between the two, between this figure and that top. That's what I'm guessing. 12 to 18, somewhere in that range. So that is monstrous. That's going to be huge. So that is quite the tank. Now, I don't know how I totally feel about it, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes when I have my breakdown. Hero's going to break down. No, I have some plans on how we're going to talk about this and sort out what should be voted. Look at the way you can make and sell stuff that loses. Yep, let's see. The thing is twice as tall and as wide as the vintage Fright Zone. Oh, wow. If that's true, Jeff, that's pretty cool. YouTube is messing with me during the stream. It froze again, but I could still hear you, Todd. Interesting. Is anybody else having problems with the stream? Let me know if you are. All right. So there you go. There is the mammoth giant tank. I wonder if the jaws are articulated so you can chomp people. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Chomp, chomp. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Chomp, chomp. All right. And last we have the snake Lair. The home of the Slytherin. Let's go ahead and look at this with Lady... Well, they don't have Lady Sith in here. That would stink if they only included her with this. I'm glad they're releasing her as a separate figure. I saw the email come out today. So we have this gate up here with the sharp points in the bottom, which always makes that fun and cool. And we have some weird kind of sarcophagus looking thing here. Not sure what that is. We got some flames coming up with smoke. We got the giant snake head, which of course looks like King Hiss with the big old mouth and 2 snakes coming off the side. We have the regular snake symbol right here. Snake symbol! We got a big firing gun in front. We have the faces of some of the snake people we know. So here we have that ugly guy that turns people to stone. We have the lady new snake they came out with. Let's take a look at those faces. Now, I personally... sorry, you guys. I'm going there. I am going there. I personally cannot stand the way this figure looks. I never have liked how he looked. And now he's prominent on the face of this toy. Just not a fan. Now, she is cool looking. I am really happy to see her face on there. I love that. I think that is a really cool touch to have her on there. That is so cool looking. So her face, yeah, all the way. That's cool. But his face, I'm not a fan of him normally. But still, as far as this playset goes as a whole, it looks pretty cool. You can tell there's some hinges right here in the side. And it's got a little cool thing underneath here. It's got some dungeon things to hang people and have snakes going down. Some scary, scary stuff. I want to see the other side. Flip it over and let's see what the other side looks like. Because, you know, Snake Mountain, 1980s, horrible inside. But Origins has been knocking it out of the park. Now, unless this castle is monstrously huge, I can't see this being a Kickstarter, except for the fact that it's maybe something not everybody wants. So they want to maybe test the waters to see if this is even in the running. But it probably shouldn't cost much more than Castle Grayskull or Snake Mountain, right? I mean, am I wrong about that? Maybe it's a little bit taller, because here we have a height of a figure right here. But then again, Snake Mountain was pretty tall. So if this is 5 inches, 10 inches, or 5.5, so 12, 18, all the way to the top of this little turnkey up here, whatever it's supposed to be, some kind of base. So we got quite a few steps up there. So maybe almost 2 feet tall. All right. So there we have that. Let's go ahead and talk about my thought process of what I was thinking about this. Discard. Okay. So here we have the vote. And I was going through it trying to figure out what the heck do I want to vote with this? What is my thoughts on this? And I was having a hard time trying to figure out how in the world would I choose what to use or what to vote or what to go on this. So I'm looking at these and I have my knee-jerk reaction. My knee-jerk reaction would be, oh, the snake thing would be cool, and maybe the Horde tank would be cool for something, and Fright Zone would be cool because, you know, update, and oh, this would be cool, the Doom Tower. Oh, the attack track you've wanted for so long. So I came up with this scoring system, and I decided to score this based on this criteria: nostalgia, design, paint scheme, classics compatible, playability, displayability, storability, coolness. Would I actually buy? Does it fit with my top 11? How excited would I be to show my friend Steve? Now, my friend Steve always cracks up at stuff I show him. And so sometimes I like to show him stuff, other times I don't. So we're going to go through this, and then as I do, it's going to add it up here for the score, and we'll see what we get. Now, you guys can throw in your comments too. I'm looking at the screen on the side over here to see your guys' comments, what you put, and I might include that as well. Now, so then I weighted the answers on how important I think these questions are. It will give us a weighted score over here, and then a total percent of all the scores were 5s all the way down. So, and you know what's funny about this system? This is awful. I shouldn't even admit this, but I'm going to. Back when I was in high school, there were 2 girls that I liked. Neither one was my wife at the time, though. And, well, at the time, yeah, of course not. And I was trying to debate which girl would be the girl that I want to date. And so I made a program in BASIC that did the same thing, where it asked me questions all the way down and weighted them, and then kicked out which girl I should ask out to be my girlfriend. And it's funny, I forgot what I called it, And so now I'm doing the same thing, but this time instead of with my future girlfriend, I'm now doing it with my future selection on what I would vote on this. So let's see. Hebrew, make sure to take consideration the new Filmation figures seem to be taller than the Origins, so that might actually fit Classics and even Masterverse. Nice. Good to know. All right, so first of all, nostalgia. Now I'm going to go down and answer nostalgia for each one of these all the way down. And then I'll come back and answer the next question all the way down for each one. And we'll see the score change on the top as we go along. And these colors will change depending on where they rank. So first off the top, I'm going to start with this. And I know I didn't have this toy as a kid, but watching the cartoon and relating this to Scooby-Doo, this is like the mystery machine of He-Man. This is their little adventure machine they go out on in order to do their adventures. So for me, nostalgia level, this is kind of high. I know it wasn't a toy, but it's still high. I am actually going to rank this a 4. So, and a weighted score gives us a weighted score of 8, and we're at 5% on that one. This one, nostalgia. I didn't watch a lot of She-Ra as a kid, even though this is cool, but nostalgia level, I'm only going to give it a 1. All right, on to the next one. Fright Zone nostalgia. I never had it as a kid, but it's kind of cool, so I'm going to give it a 2 for nostalgia. And this here, sorry you guys, only ranks a 1. And the Snake Lair for nostalgia, again, it has no nostalgic value to me at all, only a 1. Okay, you can see the scores starting to populate now. Now for design. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. So we have our attack track design. Now the design itself is just a box, right? It's just a box. There's not a lot to this design. And even though it's cool and looks like the cartoon, the original Filmation cartoon design, still was not that spectacular. It's not really that hard to make this. You could take some pieces of Cyrene and just make your own box. The hard part would be everything else beyond that. So to design itself, I'm actually going to give it a low mark, only a 2. All right, let's head down here. The Doom Tower, you know, the design on this is fantastic. I'm just going to give it a solid 5. That is just a massive design. It is cool. The design on this, it's just pretty much a copycat with some updates, but I do like it. I'm going to give it it's between a 2 and a 3. I'm really debating 2 or 3 or 2 or 3. Let's see. What do you guys think? 2 or 3? Okay, I'll be decisive here. I will give it a 2 because it's nothing new, really. Here for design, you know what? They did a lot of cool stuff on this. They got a lot of cool aspects and stuff. I'm actually going to give it a little bit higher ranking than the other thing. Give it a 3. And design on this, I like everything except for this stupid snake face right here that really detracts from it from me. But the stairs, the gates, the gun, not so much. The big thing here, very cool. I'm actually going to give this also a design of 3. All right, and those are our new scores there. Wow, the Doom Tower is really pulling ahead. So now paint scheme. Now paint scheme on this does totally rock. If I had to paint this by hand and trying to get it just right, all the little things on the side, you know, to match the cartoon. And to match the cartoon is not always the easiest thing. So this thing gets a 5. Paint scheme on this. Looks like it's more plastic than paint. I'm going to give it a 3. Paint scheme on this. I don't think there's any really much paint scheme on this. Getting a 2. Paint scheme on this. Again, it's what you expect. It's not really anything really fantastic. I'm going to also give it a 2. And paint scheme on this. I think the paint scheme on this looks pretty awesome. I'm going to give it a 3 because it is a lot of the same color. But if they do the coloring right for the for those and the snake head, it could be pretty cool. All right, classics compatibility. Now I was going to rank these a little bit lower at first, but being that somebody mentioned the Filmation figures are higher, I think the classics capability of this is probably pretty easy to mask over. I'm going to give it a 4. And again, the weighted scale is only a 2. It's not as high as design and paint scheme for the weight. Classics compatibility on this, I'm only going to give it a 2 because I'm afraid that the seat is not going to fit a Classics guy very easily. On this here, also a 2. The playsets never work right. This here, same thing. I doubt I can fit a guy in there very easily. I mean, maybe a 3 because it's so tall. Snake's Lair, same thing. It's a playset, a 2. And that's it. All right. Let's take a look at playability. Let's start up here. Okay. I could see someone pushing this all through their house, having a good time, taking Scooby-Doo and the gang on the road. Come on. Come on. You gotta see Scooby-Doo in this. If you can't see Scooby-Doo and He-Man, I don't know. It just seems like it's so much like it. The lower tower looks like a hug bug. No, dude. It has to be motorized. Yes. Motorized would be cool if it was motorized. That would be cool. But, you know, you got your Cringer. He's like your Scooby-Doo character. And then you have Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms is, you know, kind of like Freddy. And then you have Teela. Teela's kind of like Daphne. And then you have, you know, Prince Adam. I guess he's kind of like Shaggy, not quite, you know, on the ball completely. Anyway, I know we got no Velma. We ain't got no Velma. Oh well. Man-at-Arms can be Velma too. He's kind of clever. Playability, solid 5. Solid 5. Playability on this, I think the playability on this is very limited. You got an opening down here. You got a throne down here. You got some stairs. I don't see a lot of playability with this. I'm going to actually give it a low mark for playability. Maybe a 2. Playability on this. Now, it's got some great action features. You got the trapdoor, you got the birds, you got the snake, you got the monster, you got the, you know, the man-eating plant. But I think with all that stuff being in the way, it takes away from the ability to actually jump in and do what you want. So I think it's crowded. But if it's going to be actually bigger than the actual original toy is, that does give a lot more playability feature. So if that is correct, I'm going to go on that assumption. I'm actually going to give it a 4. Because if it is bigger, that does make it quite playable. This one here, playability. You got a guy here, you got storage there, some guns. I don't see this as being super playability. I could see it coming in to attack, you know, She-Ra and her gang, or coming in and attacking Castle Grayskull. But other than that, it's just, you know, fodder on the field to be shot, hit, beat up, knocked over, and to transport troops. It's not like the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo. It's got a low playability for me, 1. Playability on this. This looks pretty cool. But again, I don't know. I'll give it a 2. Okay. So our scores are starting to come in here now. There we go. Doom Tower's ranking pretty high. Displayability. Now, this thing's going to be big. But I could see putting figures in there and having some fun with that. But, again, displayability on this, I don't think is super huge. I think I'm only going to give it a 2 for displayability. Displayability on this, it's going to be tall. It's going to be really tall. So I'm thinking displayability on this is going to be hard to display also because of its massive height. Now, displayability is also how you can display figures on it, too. So, being you have the throne for Skeletor here, or Skeletor, for Hordak here, I guess that would be a huge displayability piece. Luis, the lair could be empty just like the vintage Snake Mountain. It could be. It could be. So, I'm going to actually give this a little bit higher ranking for displayability just because you can store Hordak inside of it, and that's kind of cool for displayability. Displayability on this, it's massive. You could put figures all over it and just have it as your display piece. So this is strong suit, is its displayability. So I'm going to give that a 5. Okay, displayability on this here, it's just a lump of plastic. You could put a guy up on top. I'm sorry, you guys, it's a 1. It's a 1. Okay, display ability on this. On the outside looks cool, but it could be empty on the inside. I'm willing to give it a 3. You know what? Yeah, it's a 3. Okay. Store ability. It's a box. You just throw it in the closet. Store ability. It's a tall thing. You could put it in the corner of your room. Give it a 3. Store ability. Oh man, I have problems storing mine now. I have no place to put mine at all. It's always in the way. It's just a hassle. Store ability. Chunk of plastic. Hopefully the front. Well, I guess you can turn the front around. Of course, then it's kind of sitting weird. Oh, this isn't the back. This is the face coming down. I thought this was the back. I don't even know what the back looks like. That's funny. It's just this just folds down the stairs. Duh. Okay, well, if this gun can turn around and give it room, it's got a pretty high storability, so I'm going to give it a 4. And storability on this, it does fold in half. If it fits like the other toys that fold in half, it has a pretty good storability. I'm going to give it a 3. Okay, on to coolness. Yes, we do need a more educated guess, Mr. Wookie Sasquatch. Dude, I know I tell you every time, but that name is awesome. Anyway, let's continue on. So now we're on to coolness. Okay. I'm sorry, but even though I love this thing, it's just not really that cool. It's a box with wheels. 2. Coolness. Oh yeah. This thing screams coolness. It's black. It's buggy. It's got green on it. It's got plastic. It has chambers to turn people into crazy monsters. It has a throne for Horde. Its coolness ranks pretty high. I want to give it a solid 5. Okay. Coolness. 2. Coolness. It is pretty cool. I'm going to give it a 3. Coolness. It's a 5. All right. Running out of things to go on here. Next we have would I actually buy? Definitely. 5. Would I actually buy? No. 1. I know you're like, what? You wouldn't actually buy this? No. No, I wouldn't. Would I actually buy? Oh. Such a hard decision. 2. Would I actually buy? No. Would I actually buy? 3. You know what? I'm going to change this and do a 3 too. I might actually buy this. I'm above the halfway point on it. So there we go. All right. So let's take a look here. We have 2 left. Does it fit with my top 11? Oh yeah. Scooby and the gang. Fit with my top 11? No. 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 Okay. It's alright. That went pretty quick. For those who don't know my top 11 are, I have 11 figures that are my top 11 figures, my favorite figures, and it's what I base a lot of things on, is how much would I use this object is based on my top 11 figures. So, okay, would I be excited to show Steve? I'd be kind of embarrassed to show him this boxy car. I would. I would not invite him into the room to look at it. Steve would love this. I would be proud to show him this. Like, yeah, look at this. This is cool. Would I be... if it's bigger, maybe a 2. My friend Steve would love this as well. I will give it a 3. And I would be a little embarrassed to show my friend Steve this dollhouse for snakes. Alright, so according to this, my scores are... Dun-dun-dun-dun, Attack Track and Doom Tower. Which surprises me. I was actually going for Attack Track and Fright Zone. But I am going to bid on these 2 green ones, right? Not bid, but make them my votes. So Attack Track, pachink, and Doom Tower. Ka-chink. Oh, goodbye, Fright Zone. Goodbye, Horde Crawler. Goodbye, Snake Lair. Submit my vote. Burr, burr, burr. There we go. Oh. They're almost in order. The Snake Lair actually scored higher than the Horde Crawler. So the Horde Crawler I had the lowest score on of only 43. So almost in order. But the Snake Lair actually the Snake Lair was higher than the Fright Zone too. The Snake Lair was number 3. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that was the score that I gave them. All right. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this long tour of indecisiveness. I know you guys see a lot of videos of me trying to decide this figure, this figure, this figure, this figure. How about this one? What do you guys think? And this was kind of the same thing. And now, granted, my vote's not that high. I'm one in thousands of people voting. But hopefully this video gave you some insight on how you should maybe vote or what your thoughts are on it. And hopefully I gave you guys some food for thought on how you should base your decision on it. And it was funny. I know it sounds funny on showing your friends, but it's kind of like that old joke, about your girlfriend being fun until a friend sees her, kind of like either riding a moped, as opposed to a cool motorcycle. This is my moped. It's a lot of fun, really cool, but don't show your friends. This is my Harley. Really cool and awesome looking. But the moped is sometimes more fun to ride. So, looking at it that way, this is an embarrassment. I want it, but it's an embarrassment. This is really cool looking, but yeah, it's just not. It doesn't rank high enough for other stuff. This is cool looking too. So there you go. Those are my votes. Let me know how you vote. Put it in the comments here, or if you don't put it in the comments here right now, put it in the comments later on so I can check it out, because I may not see all these as time goes on. So actually, when the video's ended, go down in the comments and put down what two you voted for. I want to know. I like these two, Hebrew. Oh, my fingers. I like these two, Hebrew. And let me know which two they are. And it's kind of fun to see what your guys' votes are and see if the Hebrew fan base matches what the vote really becomes in the future. That'd be kind of fun to see if we are the every He-Man collector fan, if we actually make up that collector fan. The Doom Tower looks bigger than Cat's Lair based on the scale of the weapons rack. Yeah, it does look like it could be bigger. And especially based on the door. Here's the door way down here for a guy to go in, and you count those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus. It's as tall as 6 plus figures. And this one here is 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 figures tall, and then with a little thing on top might push it past it. So yes, the Doom Tower is way taller than probably everything else on here. Black Phoenix, I'm voting for the attack track. We need our mystery machine. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and Darth Vader it out. Let me see some of your other comments. Attack track. Let's see. The Doom Tower looks bigger than Cat's Lair, but the Horde Crawler is awesome. The Horde Crawler is cool. I just don't have the same feelings for it. It's just too generic looking. It looks like a generic tank. Now, if it was the Batnik, I think it was called, or something, the Collector, I think. The Collector with the claws, that's what it was, the Collector. If it was the Collector, let's get the claws right, that would be something worthwhile. But the Horde tank, there's a lot of Horde stuff in here. We got 1, 2, 3 Horde items in here. And then 1 Heroes item, and then 1 Snake item. So it's kind of very Horde heavy on these selections, which lets you know that Mattel probably doesn't think that the Horde stuff sells very well to put it in a Kickstarter. So maybe it might make sense to bid on the Horde stuff. So for me, Doom Tower and Attack Track. All right, let me go ahead and Darth Vader this out. That was fun. And there, where's Darth Vader? There he is. All right, Good journey, you guys.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it.